One of the biggest problems I have today is far left content creators actively trying to derail Kamala Harris's campaign. Hasan Piker went on Twitter and communicated an idea that is so divorced from reality. It has 39,000 likes and it's frustrating me. I don't dislike Hasan. I don't hate Hasan. I just dislike his politics. I hate how anti-America he is. I don't think he wants what's best for this country. And I think this tweet right here is like, this energy coming from this tweet is not a joke. It's not a game. Let's read this. Hasan says, I care about labor, anti-war, free healthcare, and college for all. I want a pathway to citizenship for immigrants. He means illegal immigrants. I want my taxes to go towards fixing the roads and schools in this country instead of lining the pockets of the military-industrial complex executives. Kamala's speech seemed hostile to all of that. First, let's talk about labor. Number one, as it pertains to labor, the Biden-Harris administration created 14 million new jobs over the course of the entire administration. This is a fact. Furthermore, Kamala Harris, in her speech at 30 minutes and 19 seconds, strongly opposed Putin's invasion of Ukraine, promised to strengthen America's military and to strengthen our relationship with our allies. I don't know if you guys know this. Some of you seem to be conflating Kamala Harris trying to strengthen America's military with being pro-war. A lot of you guys don't seem to realize the U.S. Navy is extremely instrumental in free global trade. They protect ships all over the world. In the event that the U.S. military, the U.S. Navy specifically, is not protecting these ships, you would see significant economic damage done by piracy. We can't have that happening. The strength of the U.S. military, how much we spend on weaponry, has allowed us to supply Ukraine with the weapons they've used to stave off the Russian invasion. Turns out the military-industrial complex has its benefits. And a lot of you guys don't want to hear this. You aren't ready to accept this, but it's reality. The reality is all the money we spend on those bombs, all the money we spend on those bullets, weapons, it's paid off. Now we're sending it over there to the Ukrainians to use, and it's working. Okay? Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. We should always be the best at warfare. We should always be prepared for war because you never know what can happen. In fact, one of the biggest issues we've had is European nations not being prepared for showtime. And as a result, a lot of them were scrambling to get weaponry necessary to ship off to Ukraine. A strong American military is the best thing for the world right now. A lot of you far leftist people don't want to contend with this reality, but you need to contend with this. You can talk about the war in Iraq all you want. You can talk about Libya. You can talk about Syria all you want. But the reality is this. The United States military has brought about one of the most peaceful, the U.S. military and NATO has brought about one of the most peaceful eras in human history. Human history. Have we made horrible mistakes? And that's putting it lightly. Yes. But a world run by Russia, Iran, and China is not a world you're built for. And I'm tired of people on the left, in the center left, pretending with you all that you are built for that. You're not built for socialism. You're not built for radical Islam. You're not built for communism. You think you are, but you're not. You're not built for that on a nationwide level. You're not prepared for that. You're not about that life. As much as y'all talk about LGBTQ rights and women's rights, it doesn't really seem like you care about that because you all actively promote the derailment of the hemisphere of the world that actively promotes these things. Because of what? The war in Iraq, the fermentation of the civil war in Syria, Libya, because of foreign policy mistakes, some of it not even a mistake, just pure on evil, we're about to just dunk Western civilization and hand over the world to the East because some of you seem to believe in multipolarity. Some of you seem to think that Russia isn't playing to win, China isn't playing to win. Those nations don't even really get along like that. When Russia was getting its ass whooped in Ukraine, China was writing up maps of themselves taking Russia's territory and releasing it onto the internet. Like, these people don't get along. China and Russia, they're not really friends like that. They pretend to be friends, but they're not really that close. These nation states are highly opposed to the rights and freedoms of LGBTQ people, women, people of color, Muslims. Highly opposed in China to the rights of Muslims. Iran is horrible on the rights of women. Russia prides itself on not being woke. Russia's brazenly racist. Russia, I don't even think I have to go into detail here. When you guys actively try to undermine the United States, understand who you're enabling. Power vacuums get filled. They don't remain empty. There is no multipolarity, and I can guarantee you, multipolarity is not something you want. He goes on to talk about free healthcare in college for, actually, let's go back to the war thing just for 1 second. She also spoke about Israel and Gaza. She spoke about the importance of Israel's right to defend itself and also creating a path for independence and self-determination for the people of Palestine. These two things are what we need to look forward to in reality. There's never going to be a day where Kamala Harris can just make Israel just dissolve, because some of you guys seem to think that's going to happen. You seem to want that, and I'm going to tell you this right now. Israel is never dissolving. And if they were ever forced to dissolve, they'd probably launch nuclear bombs and blow up the entire region. Okay? The security of planet Earth is more important than some of y'all's fantasy of from the river to the sea. That's never going to happen. I think the best case scenario in my mind is the 67 borders. I'm frankly frustrated with all these settlements on the West Bank. I think that if Israel doesn't get their shit together with the West Bank, we'll probably see another October 7th. I just don't see how you're not going to have continuous fighting if the Israelis don't stop colonizing their land. However, this expectation that something like October 7th can happen and Israel's supposed to just accept it and lie down and be cool with it without defeating a terrorist organization, Hamas, without going to war and destroying that organization. Some of y'all seem to think that's like not supposed to happen. Some of you guys seem to think the US should destroy its relationship with Israel over them going to war with Hamas. You are delusional. And some of you seem to think that if she doesn't come out fully against Israel, she shouldn't get your vote. My question to you is this. If you people end up bringing about a Trump victory, it will be the end of the United States of America, because he's going to destroy democracy and possibly bring about a secession of blue states or a possible domestic conflict. And he'll just flatten Gaza. Trump has used the word Palestinian as an insult twice. I have never in my time seen I've never seen this kind of foolishness. Trump uses the word Palestinian as an insult and even called a Jewish man, Chuck Schumer, a Palestinian. He used it as like an insult toward a Jewish man. As if like, if you're Jewish and you're compared to a Palestinian, you should feel icky, because apparently Palestinians aren't people to Trump. Trump hosts Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago. And you guys sit there, when you're asked to protest this, you sit there and say, well, the Kamala Harris and Biden administration are the ones in charge, and they're the ones sending the money to Israel, and Y'all are kids, bro. Y'all are dumb. Y'all are literally dumb. You're stupid. You do realize that there are Republican members of the House who signed off on the bill to support Israel. The House of Representatives are the ones who come up with fiscal plans for the country. Foreign aid, all of that. The House of Representatives, meaning Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz and all the MAGA villains we're used to. Yes, they're happy to send money to Israel. They're happy to fund the war. They're happy to. You think you can sit there and threaten Kamala Harris's presidency and you're going to all of a sudden stop the conflict? No, because the president is not the only one who decides this. Congress can override a presidential veto. Do y'all understand this? If you bring about a Trump presidency, Congress is still going to support Israel. The problem is Trump is going to take it way too far. And I don't even know what Congress would look like with a Trump presidency. I don't even know if he wouldn't just oust all of his political opponents. I don't know what American fiscal policy looks like under Trump, but I can tell you this. You can say bye-bye to Gaza. Bye. You can just say goodbye to Gaza. If y'all get Trump up in it, that's what's gonna happen. Y'all want Kamala to detonate our relationship with Israel because kids are dying in Gaza. Let me explain something to y'all. Children die in war. If you can't handle that, you're an idiot. I don't know what to tell you. Children die in conflict. If it wasn't 10,000 children, it'd be 2,000, 3,000. It would be a lot. Gaza's a tightly packed urban area, and Hamas uses civilian infrastructure as staging grounds for combat. Civilians are going to die. You add in war crimes, which happen in every single war, and you're going to get a shitstorm. The problem is, you guys are actively trying to derail the candidate who's saying, yo, Israel, you can defend yourself, but we need to trim up the bullshit. We need to figure out how we stop some of the extra bullshit. You can defend yourself, but keep in mind, we're working toward a goal where the Palestinians can be free and not colonized and have freedom to determine their own future. You're actively sabotaging her. You're sabotaging her. And y'all are proud to do it. Y'all proud. Bro, the only satisfaction I will get if Trump wins is laughing at y'all when Gaza goes poof. Because I can tell you this right now. As an American, what's most important to me is America. America comes first. Gaza comes second. I care about the people in Gaza. I don't have a black heart. I kind of do. I'm black. But look, they matter. They're important. But the United States comes first. If we lose the United States, you could just kiss Gaza goodbye, my G. Kiss it. When Trump when Trump is in there, bro, it's gonna be a disaster. Trump will not only destroy the rights of LGBTQ people and women and people of color in this country, but he will destroy Gaza. I heard, and I don't know if this is true, but I heard that what's his name, Jared Kushner, was talking about building real estate in Gaza after it's destroyed. That whole family hates Palestinian people. Imagine seeing thousands of people dying in a war. Because some of y'all seem to think it's just a full-on just slaughter fest. There are people fighting there. Yes, Hamas is fighting. It's not just civilians going poof. These people are watching civilians get caught up in a war between radical, insane terrorists and the IDF and think, would love to build some real estate, a little hotel, a little restaurant, something like that. That's what... these people are demonic. And you're going to help them win because you're mad about Gaza? The reality is this. Joe Biden had a complicated decision. He can't just sit there because civilians are dying in war and just say, no more funding to Israel, F Israel. By the way, in case you forgot, Iran, an enemy of the United States, basically, we're not at war, but they're not our friends. Iran backs terrorist organizations in the Middle East that attack Israel all the time. What kind of message are we sending to Israel when we say, hey, if they attack you, we'll turn on you if you don't execute the war perfectly how we say so? We'll turn on you if Hamas is able to turn the tide of public opinion against you. We'll turn on you if the war doesn't look picture perfect in 2024 because people have a picture perfect idea of what war looks like in 2024. And if you can't make the war look pretty enough for them, we'll turn on you. And we'll enable nations like Iran to support and fund terror organizations in the Middle East who actively cause destruction. Y'all don't think about this. All you think about is Gaza, Gaza, Gaza. Never mind the fact that the Gazan people supported the attacks on October 7th. It's a complicated issue. We don't want Gaza to be flattened and annexed and colonized, but we also don't want to send the wrong message to, number one, the Palestinian people, that, hey, you could just attack Israel forever and ever, and we'll always stop them if it looks ugly enough. No. No. There has to be an incentive for both sides to stop. There has to be. There has to be a message to Iran that you can't just, ferment these attacks on Israel and we'll abandon them. Because Iran, if you forgot, is aligned with China and Russia. Two more enemies that are not friendly with the United States. Y'all don't care about the geopolitical complexities of these decisions. You just care about what you want. At the expense of the entire country whose democracy, rights for minorities, women and people of color is right. You're willing to compromise all of that for Gaza. There's nothing wrong with compassion. There's nothing wrong with empathy, but we have to be smart. The cool thing about Kamala is if we vote for her, we get to save not only the people of Gaza, but also the United States. But if you actively derail her like Hasan is doing, and you possibly bring about a Trump victory, what do we get? Destruction in Gaza and destruction in the United States. Y'all have to be smart about this. It's not as simple as children are dying, therefore the end. I hate to say it. It sounds effed up. And I want the conflict in Gaza to cease. But if what we're going to be doing is compromising the United States of America on a domestic level, compromising our alliances and geopolitical interests, because a war isn't going exactly how y'all want it to go, and y'all are calling it a genocide when it's not a genocide, y'all are causing chaos. There's nothing wrong with wanting a ceasefire. There's nothing wrong with calling for Kamala to call for a ceasefire. I'm with you on that. If it's realistic, let's go for it. If it's possible, let's go for it. But y'all are literally in La La Land. Y'all are in La La Land. Some of y'all think kids don't die in war. Some of y'all seem to believe that for real. Some of y'all really believe that, like, in conflict, in a tightly packed area, jam-packed with civilians, that somehow or another children are not going to die. That somehow or another war crimes aren't going to occur. And if these things happen, press the red button and detonate the United States on a domestic level. And help elect the guy who will destroy Gaza for real. No. Use your head. The children dying is a bad thing. But we have to figure out, how do we get to the point where we can stop this? How do we get to a point where we can elect someone who can pressure Netanyahu, but also tell the Israeli people, we will always support your right to self-defense, but hey, look, what's going on over there, there needs to be an end, and a strategic, smart end, where we can build a future where we can have a two-state solution. Because I don't believe a one-state solution is going to work. There is no from the river to the sea. Israel's not going anywhere. It's over. Let that go. We need a two-state solution. But in order for that to happen, Harris has to communicate goodwill to both the Palestinians and the Israelis. He talks about free healthcare and college for all. Kamala Harris, I believe, in 21 minutes and 56 seconds, says she wants to protect Social Security and Medicare. I've never understood why you guys want a purity test at this time in the game. You do realize, right, that Donald Trump had the most insane momentum a month ago. We can't let him get that back. I assume that if we keep going blue in this country, we'll probably reach free healthcare and college for all. Probably. But right now, as she's accused of being a socialist, even though like socialist-esque policies are like beneficial for the country, as she's accused of being a socialist and a communist and bringing about some kind of red scare, she cannot afford to cede unnecessary points to Trump. She can't just sit there and say free healthcare and college for everybody. She can't. She did speak about standing up to schools who are taxing the shit out of students. By taxing, I mean like obviously like the debt and the loans. She spoke about opposing that. She spoke about going to battle against that. She can't just put all of her cards on the table and let the other side see them. Y'all don't care about winning. You don't care about strategy. It's just moral grandstanding and purity testing. I understand the importance of these things. I do. We got to get there in baby steps, because currently we're dealing with an insurrectionist president who is backed by 25% of the country that lives in an alternate reality with him. And if you can't acknowledge that and you're willing to compromise America because you aren't getting the perfect speech you want, with all the buzzwords and all the calls for free this and free that when you want it, if you can't accept and understand that, you're actively derailing progress, my G. You are. Stop doing this. Stop. When have Biden and Harris ever opposed any sort of progress on healthcare and college? When? The same Biden who literally tried to cut student debt? What is going on here? This idea that the president and the vice president can just make crazy statements or crazy demands whenever and however they please is not true. Not only do we have checks and balances in this country, But when it comes to trying to win an election, we cannot afford to cede unnecessary points to Trump. I don't know if you guys have seen, but Trump spirals every day. He says something unbelievably stupid every day. The energy for MAGA has hit its ceiling and grows no further. We cannot afford to give these people the points they cannot earn for themselves. MAGA can't earn points for themselves. Every shot is a brick. It's Brick City. Don't give them a layup for free. He says he wants a pathway to citizenship for illegal immigrants. Use the proper term. Either say documented or illegal. But saying immigrants is just dishonest. Say, hey, for people who have come here illegally, whether you want to use the word undocumented or illegal. I don't believe in using the word illegal. I don't believe in calling someone illegal. But if you want to be honest here, you're calling for a pathway to citizenship for illegal immigrants. Undocumented, whatever term you want to use. Can someone point out a time where Harris or Biden, specifically Harris, has ever opposed a pathway to citizenship for undocumented/illegal immigrants who come to this country as children or marry a citizen and have been here working and staying out of trouble? When have they ever opposed that? Isn't it like part of like what we do as Democrats? Like, isn't it just what we've always done? Did she come out against that? If she did, by all means, tell me. But like, this seems like such a, like, as Trump is campaigning to deport everybody, regardless of their circumstances, regardless of what they're contributing to this country right now, as Trump pledges to deport all of them back to nations they can't even remember. A lot of them can't even remember being in Mexico, can't even remember being in Nicaragua or whatever. They can't remember. Trump wants to send them back to a nation a lot of them can't even remember. And here we are trying to derail Harris because she, like, maybe didn't touch on a pathway to citizenship for illegal immigrants. I don't understand. Like, what are we doing here? We have one candidate brazenly telling you what he's going to do, and another candidate whose administration and party has been extremely friendly and gracious toward undocumented illegal immigrants. What are we doing? Do you have sympathy for these people? I do. If we're going to have sympathy for them, we have to vote for people and push for people who are going to do right by them. This tweet compels 39,000 people to believe Kamala Harris is not for this. You're doing damage, my G. He says, I want my taxes to go toward fixing the roads and schools in this country instead of lining the pockets of the military-industrial complex executives. Bro, Hasan, you and I both know, because you know politics very well. You're a smart guy. I know you're super smart. G, you know Biden and Harris passed the biggest infrastructure bill ever. Why are you even communicating any idea otherwise? Of course they've put money towards schools and roads. They did that. That's one of the biggest accomplishments of their administration. Why are you compelling your viewers to believe otherwise? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Seriously, why? Why are you even compelling people to believe this? Stop. Stop. We can't afford to lose this election, my G. We can't afford for people who were going to vote Democrat to all of a sudden sit out the race because they were compelled to believe something that is not true by their favorite streamer, my G. You have the young vote. A lot of young people, Gen Z my age, watch you, my G. They watch you. They follow you. They like you. When you tweet stuff like this, because let me tell you something about Gen Z. We oftentimes don't watch as much as we should. Attention span's a little bit too low with us. So we oftentimes come to short clips or tweets to give us a summary of what took place. When they read a summary like this, my G, that's completely divorced from reality, what kind of mindset do you think they're going to have 2 months away from the election? Seriously, bro. Seriously, then we talk about the military-industrial complex. First and foremost, the United States spends a significantly small amount of our GDP on our military. I think it's like 2 to 3%. And I think the amount we spend on foreign military aid is like 0.3% of our GDP. Meaning there is more than enough money left behind for the American people. When we spend money on our military industrial complex, you all need to understand something. It's not a bunch of old white dudes in suits making it rain. There are average everyday Americans who work for these companies who have to put clothes on their children's backs, roofs over their families' heads, and food on tables, bro. Average everyday Americans work for these companies. I don't know why you guys seem to think it's a bunch of supervillains rubbing their hands like Birdman in the cut. You know what I'm saying? But it's not the truth. Average everyday Americans. When Hasan mentions labor, this is a part of labor. Normal, average, everyday Americans who participate in the manufacturing of these weapons, of these weapon systems, of these ammunition types, all of this is being done not just by rich billionaire corporate execs, highly paid scientists and engineers, but also average, everyday blue-collar workers who put these things together. When you guys sit there and shit on the military-industrial complex, the same MIC as he calls it, the military-industrial complex that those weapons we bought from them, we sent those to Ukraine. All that money we spent on those weapons has allowed Ukraine to secure its future and fight against the Russian invasion. A strong American military, a well-armed and well-supplied American military is not just good for the United States, but good for our friends. Because you never know when your allies or an ally-friendly nation like Ukraine is going to need your help. Average everyday Americans work to manufacture these weapons, weapon systems, and ammunition types. When you guys undermine that, you're taking jobs away from average everyday Americans. The military needs weapons. Our allies and friends need weapons. What we've managed to do in America, because we're so wealthy and so rich, we've been able to chew gum and walk at the same time. As we fund our schools and pay our teachers, and make sure kids have food when they go to school, we're also strengthening our military, keeping them well armed and well supplied, and keeping our allies well armed and well supplied. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have done all of the stuff Hasan, bro. I'm messing up. All the stuff that Hasan, I'm kind of tired. I streamed so long this week. I'm getting used to the hours. Bear with me. All of the stuff that Hasan is upset about or pretending to be upset about, because he's very smart, he's not stupid, he's very aware, he knows what's going on. All the stuff Hasan is pretending to be mad about, the Biden-Harris administration has either A, taken care of or pledges to take care of. This is not time for this kind of infighting. It's not. I need hardcore leftists to understand something. Moral grandstands, purity tests, we don't have time for that foolishness, my G. Stop doing this. Stop. Y'all don't take nothing serious, bro. Y'all don't take anything seriously. The rights of LGBTQ people, women, minorities, the middle class, everyone's ass is on the line. Democracy is on the line. All of us, white man, black man, Hispanic man, all of us, we're all on the line. All of our asses are on the line if Trump wins. And here we have leftists who despise Trump actively chipping away slowly but surely at support for Harris in an attempt to send her a message. And a lot of y'all are doing this because of Gaza, where you're so upset and concerned about Gaza to the point that you're willing to compromise the United States of America. You're willing to compromise democracy and bring about a possibly authoritarian state, an autocratic state, theocratic, autocratic, racist state because of Gaza. We can talk about the history of Israel and Palestine, but the reality is, right now, if you care about, let's just say all you care about is Gaza and nothing else, bringing about a Trump victory will spell the end of Gaza. The United States can recover from Trump. I don't know if we will, but we can. I don't know what happens if Trump gets in and gives Netanyahu carte blanche to colonize the West Bank, totally annex it, and also annex the West Bank. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know. Donald Trump brings out the worst in everybody. I can only, as crazy as Netanyahu is, I can only imagine the side of Netanyahu that will come out with Trump enabling. If you're someone who cares about both the United States and Gaza, you have to understand a Trump presidency spells the end of both. I need you all to understand this and to realize and appreciate this, please. Please. Because if you don't, the United States might take a hit, but we could recover from Trump. We can. The United States, we can take a hit. We can recover from a Trump presidency. We definitely can. I can't guarantee Gaza recovers from what Trump does. Once that land has been annexed, I don't know if there's like a redo button with that. I don't know. We could stop a Trump autocratic takeover. We can't stop Gaza being like annexed, mind you. Once that's done, it's done. Then on top of that, Trump and Vance want to antagonize Iran, as if Israel hasn't done enough. Blowing up, was it the embassy or the consulate or whatever, and then blowing up the leader of Hamas in Iran, as if there haven't been enough rockets sent back and forth enough. Vance and Trump want to whisper in Netanyahu's ear to take more shots at Iran. Y'all can't be serious with these kind of tweets, my G. Stop. Stop. Y'all have to stop doing this. You're not helping. You're hurting. I don't know who's more frustrating, bro. I do know who's more frustrating. MAGA. But y'all far left folk are really frustrating me. Stop trying to help MAGA win. Stop. Some of y'all really don't care about, like, you don't care. You really don't care about the people of Gaza. So this is one of the most, like, frustrating and, like, painful things I realize about a lot of far left people is you really don't care. You don't care. You don't want to take the necessary steps to protect people. You just want to grandstand. You just want to look like you care without actually casting the ballot necessary to bring your concerns into reality. Like, it's like, whatever, bro. It is what it is. I encourage far left people to do what's right. Stop Trump from blowing up Gaza and stop Trump from blowing up democracy here in this country. That's what I have to say. I predicted Hasan would do this. I told y'all Hasan was making little slick comments about Kamala Harris for a while, and y'all weren't to know Hasan gonna do it. Now look. But I feel like Hasan is too anti-America. Hasan is constantly parroting shit that undermines America and its allies. Oh, now it's at 40,000. Lord have mercy. I don't know how we combat this problem. Another retweet. Lord have mercy. Look, y'all, America comes first. The United States comes first. Our democracy comes first. Then we can worry about... Y'all making me sound like Candace Owens, bro. Like, bro, see what y'all done did, bro? Like, bro... Whatever. If you like the video, like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.